Hi, everybody from the Virtual Academy. My name is Zena, and I am a teacher here. I wanted to help out Marie and create a video that is a tutorial on how to do a quick multiple choice assessment and put it on Blackboard and use it in Blackboard. Let's get started. I've got my screen here. So basically, I am logged into my Blackboard account. Teach a lot of classes in Blackboard. So I'm going to scroll down to my class that I'm teaching right now, social psychology. So you're going to notice, first of all, that I've got my edit mode on. It's always important to look there to make sure that that's turned on. The other thing is that when you build a test in Blackboard, when you build any content, you have to have a unit to hook that content to. So I just figured we could play around with unit 1 because I've already built an assessment, first of all, so you can kind of see what an assessment would look like. You'll notice that it's got like a little timer and looks like a little multiple choice test. I do want to say that I've used Blackboard on and off for quite a few years, and the one thing I do like about it is the test feature of Blackboard. That might be one of its strong points. And I think it has some things I was using for the first part of hybrid. I was doing Google Forms as my tests, and there were just some intrinsic issues that I think actually Blackboard would be better. So, and I know those of you who use Illuminate, you love that for your test taking. But if somebody, might be like me and you only use Google, that this might be an alternative that actually is pretty good. And I'm going to show you how to use it real quick. So we're in Unit 1, and we're going to create a test. So make sure you're not in build content. That's more of your curriculum stuff. You're going to go over to assessments. So you're going to click on test because we're going to make a multiple choice test. We're going to create one, right? Now, one thing to note is that you can also add an existing text, right? So if you've got something that you've already been working on, maybe it's in a draft format, you can select it. But we're going to create from scratch. So I'm going to click create, and then you could name this. So you could call this test assessment for teachers. So then I can give a description. Please take this test as part of your PD day training. I don't know. So then you could actually put some instructions here, right? So maybe just say multiple choice. Please select the best answer. Okay, so then you would click submit. One thing about the keywords of Blackboard, submit and OK, and they tend to be down in the lower right-hand corner. And you might want to tell students that too. So we click submit. We don't have a test yet, and you're going to notice we don't have any. It says this test has no questions. So what we have to do is we have to create questions for the test. Now, there are some cool things in here, like you can upload, you can reuse questions, like if you've got a question set, right? You can do things and you can find things that are already created, which is kind of nice. But I don't want to get into that because that's a little bit more advanced than what we're doing in this training. What this training is basically let's do a multiple choice test and put it on Blackboard. All right, we're not going to go any further than that. So you'll notice here that this is a lot of choices, right, for a assessment, more than what Google has. So I'd go ahead and select multiple choice, and then we could do question title, and you could just say, what school are you from? And then you can actually, you could repeat that in the question text, or you could say, please select the correct school. This reminds me of the librarian that said, some of the students don't know what school they attend, right? This could be a difficult question. So one thing that we need to look at, and I just want to point out, is that you can allow partial credit, right? You can actually orientate your test to look a certain way. Google doesn't give you that option. So that's kind of fun, but we're not going to play with that because it's more advanced. So we're just going here to our potential answers and see if you want to have more potential answers, you just click, right? But we're just going to have 4. So if we said, what is your school? We're going to put some answers down in this little box. So our first one, we could say, 1, Antelope. And then we could say 2, Roseville. 3, Adelante, right? And then maybe 4 is West Park. So once I do that, I've got these options. Now, if this was a true test, right, where there was a correct answer, I would have to put the button next to the correct answer. So let's say, I'm just going to say Roseville is the correct answer. So if I was done creating the test, I would hit submit. If I wanted to create another question, right, I would click submit and create another. I'm going to just click submit because we're just going to do this short little test, right? One multiple choice question. Notice that it tells us the description. We get the instructions here. One question. Oh, we got our points. Well, maybe we don't want it to be worth 10 points. All that you would do is you'd go over to the box and say, hey, I only want to make this worth a point. There we go. We click submit because remember, OK and submit, those are, you have to do that when you're in Blackboard. So then this question here shows up. This is kind of a preview of what it looks like, right? What school are you from? Please select the correct school. And then you've got your options right here. One thing to note is this plus. You can add another question. Say you decide, no, I really need to add another question. You can do that. And then you can just click OK, right? And then you're going to see this test assessment for teachers. It is right here, and we can just add it. And then we know that when we go back to Unit 1, right, that we see it, but it looks different than my test for social psychology. And the reason why is because it is not, this is kind of like our draft mode. So in order to take it out of draft, we have to go to the place called Edit the Test Options. Okay, there's a couple things I'm going to show you here before we stop this training, because I've already, that's as much as I want to teach you guys in this video. I'm going to make some more if you guys like them. So basically, what you can do is you can scroll down and think of these things like in your Google form as your add-ons to a test. These are kind of like your add-ons, right? So you can actually have how many attempts you want. You can do a forced completion. But for a kid to be able to take your test, this is the most important thing, right? Okay, kids, go take a test. Where is that thing? Why can't I access it? You have to click yes on test availability. Make it available, right? Because you might not want to make something available. This is another thing that I always do with a test on Blackboard. I always have a password. Maybe I put the password as shoes. And the reason I think this is good for the academy is when you want to check kids to see if their camera's on, maybe you send them a private chat and say, oh, your camera's on. The password is shoes, or whatever you want to do. Maybe you want to send an email or something, but you have that password for students to access, okay? So then you click submit. So now you're going to see that this test is ready to go. And an important thing to note is maybe looking at how it would look for a student. So let's go ahead and let's take our editing mode off so we can kind of see what it looks like for a kid. When a kid comes into Unit 1, oh, here's the test assessment, right? They click on it. And remember, they have to, when they hit begin, it is going to take them to where they need the password. And this is great because I know whenever I put some stuff up there, I get kids that want to go in and do it early and it's not time yet. So I think this is a great kind of like a barrier for those kids, those overachievers that you don't want them in your test yet. So then, of course, I said the password was shoes. And then when we submit, now the test is open for that student. And another thing I think makes this far superior to Google Forms is that in a Google form, a student can be taking a test in there, and if their Chromebook dies or whatnot, they have to go all the way back to the beginning, because if they don't hit submit and finish the test, like there's not even a record of the test being taken. And I had that happen in my world studies class. So this I think is nice because you can actually You can pick an answer. Okay, my correct school is Roseville, and I can save that answer, and I save and submit, and it will say okay. And then I know that I took the assessment, and I know when I started it, I know how much time I spent. This is great because you can look at a kid and go, wow, they spent 3 minutes on my test. So you know that they were just plowing through that thing. And then you can go to the grade center, and in the next video, I'll show you guys how to look at assessments that kids take in the grade center, and maybe I'll show you how to create some groups. For me, I have a lot of classes of social psychology, so I want to have period 1 and period 3 and period 4. So I hope this was helpful. And again, I think that there are some perks to using this, and please contact me, email me if you have any questions, or if you need me to help you one-on-one, I'd be happy to do that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye.